Hey friends, it's one of those videos that you love, and it is a freezer and pantry and refrigerator clean out, cook with me video. Wow, that was like really hard to say and not very smooth. Basically, we're cooking all the food, all the things that come out of there and out of over there and down there. And if you were here on my recent this freezer organization, I found like all these meatballs, and that's actually what we're gonna start with, is all the meatballs and the bananas. You remember all of the brown dead bananas? We're gonna use those too, right now. So if you like cleaning out your freezer and pantry and cooking all of the things, give this video a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't yet. And let's get to cooking. Freezer clean out for today. Oh my goodness. So I'm thinking for dinner, I have these meatballs that I had cooked in a previous freezer meal thing. So these are totally cooked, and I think I'm gonna use these. Oh my gosh, what if I did both? Oh, go big or go home, yes. Okay, what if I did both and I made a huge batch of my kids' favorite meatball stroganoff for dinner tonight, and that should give us enough leftovers for lunches the following day. So I think we're just gonna thaw these out. I've made this recipe a few times on my channel. It's really, really easy and my kids adore it. So we'll put that together tonight. Stick these back there. I might have that for lunch today. Stick that back in there. I wanted to get rid of these bananas. So get out of it. So I have just enough bananas to make a double batch of banana bread. Oh, what? Come on. So let's grab all of these to thaw. And I'm gonna need some butter. All right, I see you, butter, back there. Okay, so this can come to room temperature. Well, this is very hard to do left-handed, by the way. We'll just open this. I need 2 sticks of butter for the double batch, and then we'll put the other 2 back in the fridge. So only need 2. There we go. Dinner ready to go, and some sweet banana bread. It's a lot of fun cooking today. My meatballs are pretty much cooked. I'm just getting my pan warm, and we're gonna add, because I have so many, 3 cups of beef broth, just the powder stuff. Italian seasoning packets from a meal box kit that I didn't use, so I'm just gonna dump both of those in there. After it simmers just a little bit to get everything warm, I'm gonna add a bunch of sour cream. Over here I have some hot water. It's not boiling yet, but we'll get there pretty soon. Serving my stroganoff with this half a bag of egg noodles. I'm just gonna finish it off and then that'll be gone. Hallelujah. Clear out food that is in the pantry and the freezer. I think that's a win. And also, I have some Rhodes dinner rolls I had left over in the freezer. They're almost done rising. Stick those in the oven, finish those off, and get those out of the freezer as well. Okay, here comes 1 cup of sour cream and 1 cup of heavy whipping cream. We're gonna mix it all together. I'm kind of eyeballing this. It doesn't have to be exact. In fact, I'm tempted to finish that because there's not much left. Okay, heavy whipping cream. That looks like about a cup. Stir all this together. Probably turn this on low or maybe off with the lid on as I wait for my pasta noodles to cook. And this is seriously all there is to it. It is like the easiest thing ever. I usually just use the frozen fully cooked meatballs from Walmart that just come in the frozen section. Makes a really, really quick dinner. Honestly, one of my kids' absolute favorites, which is funny because it's like, there's like nothing to it, but they love it. All good things, all good things. Woo! Smiley's in the house. All right, I just dumped my egg noodles right in the pot and stirred around, and I know it looks a little thin, so the fire's off, and I'm just gonna throw the lid on and let the noodles kind of soak up the liquid for a few minutes, and then we'll add some Parmesan cheese at the table. My rolls are almost done. I mean, that probably came together in about, well, as long as it took for the pasta water to boil and the pasta to cook. 15 minutes or so. Lid on while I set the table. The rolls just came out, so we are going to eat. I spend a lot of time in my kitchen, and when I'm in there cooking all day and cleaning, I really like to listen to something or watch a show, and I have been enjoying Acorn TV so much the last few months. I just want to thank Acorn TV for sponsoring today's video. Before I tell you about some of my favorite things that I'm watching right now, I have to tell you about the amazing deal they are going to give you guys. If you go to acorn.tv and use the promo code FFM, they're going to let you try Acorn TV for free for 30 days. Acorn TV is home to sophisticated and artful storytelling rooted in British television. You can get access to premium, commercial-free international content for a fraction of the cost of other streaming services, only $5.99 a month after the first 30 days for free with my code down below. It works on all of your favorite devices. You can download the app or you can watch online on Apple and Android devices. It works with the Amazon Fire Stick, the Chromecast, Roku box, and more. And you will never run out of content because they add new releases every single Monday. So you can choose from thousands of hours of exclusives, originals, and other shows you won't find anywhere else. Now, when I'm working in the kitchen, I do like to watch it on my phone. My mom is completely obsessed with this. So we have been watching The Heart Guy and Restless with my mom. That has been so fun. And if you're a fan of British comedy, then you have to watch the other one. It follows two sisters from totally different worlds, don't know the other exists until their father passes. And if you're a fan of Downton Abbey, there is a great performance by Siobhan Finneran. If you would like to escape to Britain and beyond without leaving your seat, you can try Acorn TV for free for 30 days. Go to acorn.tv and use code FFM, and thanks again to them for sponsoring today's video and for keeping me entertained for hours as I work in my kitchen. Next up is my banana bread. I do have a full dedicated video on this and a recipe for you down below in the description box if you want to check that out at the end of this video or at your leisure. And I'm trying to use my Bosch here and I totally forgot to plug it in. Sometimes it's just one of those days. So I got asked this question from a lot of the new people that I have, like, what kind of machine is this? It is not a KitchenAid. It is a Bosch universal mixer. I got it for my wedding 17 years ago. It works great. It does huge quantities of things, and the motor is extremely powerful. I actually prefer it over the KitchenAid for a couple different reasons. I also had some whole wheat flour I was trying to use in here, and then if you have your bananas in the freezer like I did here, once they thaw, they just kind of turn into banana mush, and you don't need to mush them up before you add them in. The whisks will do that for you. And yes, I am measuring my vanilla. Can you believe it? And that's because that's not vanilla like fake extract. It's the real stuff. So when it's the real stuff, I feel like I should be a little more cautious with it because it's very expensive. These bread pans are from IKEA, these long skinny ones. They do hold the same amount as a traditional loaf pan, but I do get questions about that sometimes. I will leave some similar ones linked down below for you. Next up, I am going to mix up some breakfast for the next morning. These Kodiak blueberry lemon cakes, a muffin mix I got from my last Thrive Market box, I think. And so I decided to mix these up. What a hit. These were so good. So the one box will make 12 muffins, and I really prefer to use my jumbo muffin tins, so it makes 6 muffins instead, but that's why you only see 6 muffins when I scoop them out here in a second. Dave loved these. The kids loved these. The blueberries were so sweet, like so small and sweet. They were delicious. And you'll see as I bake them that they didn't rise too much, but the flavor and texture was very, very good. I would recommend. I would buy them again. They were awesome. In fact, I might buy them when I make my next Thrive order next month. You know what I'm saying? And if you guys have not tried the jumbo muffin tins, I highly recommend it. They're very inexpensive. And it just makes you feel like you're in a bakery, like oh so fancy and a little bougie with the muffins. You know what I mean? Here are the completed banana bread and blueberry muffins. Delicious, such a winner. Would always recommend. If you want to win friends and influence people, make that banana bread. I am not kidding. And as far as meal prep goes, I'm telling you, making like sweetbreads and muffins the night before it's time to have breakfast saves you so much time in the morning. Next up, let's clean out the freezer a little bit more. I had all of these steaks sitting in my freezer, so I thawed them out and decided to top them. It's really simple. Just some Himalayan salt and some whole black peppercorns or whatever. You can use a smaller pepper, but this is basically, it's a pretty common dish to have peppered steak, essentially. Rinsing up some fresh green beans. Andrew helped me out with prepping those, and I decided to clear out all of the potatoes that I had in my fridge. So I had all of these Yukon Gold potatoes and a few red potatoes also, I think you'll see. Now, I do live in Idaho, so I get potatoes all the time. It's usually russets. Russet potatoes make really nice baked potatoes, potato soups, and mashed potatoes. But if you have the Yukon Golds, the yellow ones, and the red ones are much better roasted. Although a mashed Yukon is acceptable to me. But the red potatoes are much more waxy, and they're better for maybe like a
baked potato salad or sliced and you want them to stay whole in a soup, those are good for that, but they do not make good mashed potatoes. Anyway, basically salt and pepper and oil, put those on a cookie sheet pan with some parchment, stuck them in the oven. These take a long time. I think this was about 450 degrees for about 30 minutes. And I think I ended up finishing off those Rhodes rolls. So we had those on the side. I just did a quick boil on the green beans. And then when it came time to cook the steak, I did a very hard sear on the outside. And then I believe I finished them in the oven. And I was trying to get these on the medium side. And you'll see in a second that I was a touch under. It was pushing medium rare when it came down to slicing them and everything, but that's okay. That's way better than like a steak that's well done, which in my opinion is ruining the steak. I think cast iron is my favorite pan to sear steaks on. It can get so screaming hot, and I am using bacon fat as my oil. These pans, I know someone's probably going to ask, yes, that is the Always pan over on the other side. No, I do not recommend it. It is way too expensive for what it can and cannot do. And I had some Parmesan cheese packets in the fridge, so I threw those on the potatoes. So we had like a cheesy potato situation. And here I am trying to cut the steaks for you. You can see they're definitely like a medium, maybe a touch on the medium rare side. But here is the completed dinner. It was delicious. Even my mom gave her stamp of approval, and that is hard to do. Next items to clean out is all this cabbage. I had 2 heads of cabbage from my Misfits Market box several weeks ago. It's taking up all this room in my fridge. And I'm like, okay, what can you do with cabbage? Aha, like some kind of stir fry, rice meat bowl thing, sort of. So that's what I decided to do. And I did have some red bell peppers. I think I had some onions. So I decided to slice all those up and cook those kind of fajita style and put like all the veggies with the rice and do a bowl essentially. So it's a rice bowl topped with cabbage, sauteed peppers and onions, and pork. So I had a bunch of ground pork in my freezer as well, and I will cook those in just a second. But there's nothing special going on here in the way that I cooked anything. Salt and pepper and oil on almost everything. I think I cooked the cabbage in the Instant Pot just to clear up my stove a little bit. Once the peppers and onions were done, I decided to throw all of my pork in. I gave that some salt and pepper and put Dave on mashing duty. And then here's the true secret. If you don't know how to cook or mix flavors together, get bottles of sauce. So this is like a thick soy glaze and then the sweet red pepper sauce. And I added a little bit of water and some butter and mixed that all in with the meat. And so that's where most of the flavor came from. And then I topped everything with lime juice and cilantro, right? Easiest thing ever. So here's the bowl. I had rice on the bottom, cooked that in the Instant Pot, the cabbage, the meat with the peppers and onions, a little bit of garnish on top. It was so delicious. It could have used a touch more spice for me, but I loved it.
If you're wondering if I have the recipes down below, I do. And if you have tried some of these recipes or are going to try these recipes, let me know which is your favorite, which was maybe not a hit. And thanks for joining me, and I will see you in the